Hey YouTube. I saw I'm using a headset this time so that my voice and video quality would be better, so that hopefully my voice is a little bit louder and it doesn't sound like I'm whispering like in my first Python tutorial. So I apologize for that. And I also realized that there is a delay in video audio. Like when I do something, like it's a little delayed. You'll just have to watch my first video to know that. And to be able to watch my first video, just click on the red box right above my mouse. Okay, let's begin. So the first thing that you want to do is open the Python shell, which is under Python GUI. And then we're going to hit File, New Window. And this Untitled should come up. Oops. Just kind of want to move this up a little bit. And that up. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to be teaching you guys about the input and the raw input, what do you call them? Statements. Yeah, statements. So pretty much, we're just going to type in, we'll just say Bob equals, and then what we'll do is we'll type input, which is telling it to what the input command, which is saying, okay, Python, when you run this program, I want you to type in, like I want you to show what I put in these green parentheses. And a lot of people are just like, you know, they've never really used Python before, and they're just like, so how did you get the input to be purple, or how did you get the parentheses to be, or not the parentheses, I'm really sorry, the quotation marks to be green? It just does it on its own. So it just does it on its own. The link to get Python will be in the description. It probably will with every Python tutorial that I make, but just to be sure, always, if it's not, just check my first video, on the basic tutorial with Python. So, yeah, so we'll type in enter name space, so it looks a little more professional. Okay. What? Okay. Alright. Sorry about that. That was my mom telling me she was gonna run to the post office. So what we're telling Python to do is that when we run the module, it's going to put out there this. Enter name. And pretty much what it's going to do is if we type Bob and push enter, it's going to print out Bob. So let's just give it a try. You can run the module by hitting run and then here run module, just like I did, or you can press F5. You always have to save before you run the module, or this will happen. I'll save it as YouTube tutorial, and with every Python file that you make, you need to save it as .py or it won't work properly. And yes, I do want to replace it. So here's the shell. It says enter name, so if we enter Bob, then, so yes, and we already know that if we enter Bob, it'll say Bob. But no, obviously, because, why? Because we just use input, and it does not save information as a string. It'll just save it as something, so we get this huge error message. So, how do we change this? Simple. Open up your module, okay, and you see where it says input there, and I'm really sorry if it's delayed, so just bear with me. So we're going to type in what I just typed in, raw underscore input. And pretty much, what it'll do the same thing, but it will save the information as a string. Which means that we actually don't have to type Bob. We can type whatever we want, and it'll always print Bob, which is really nice. So once again, to run the module, you can hit run, and then run module, or press F5, like how I just did. You always need to save the source, or, it won't work, so you always have to save it. And then another thing is that when you save it, you need to save it as the name you want, .py, or it won't come out right. So yeah, here's the program. So if we enter Bob, it's obviously going to print Bob, because I already told you. But even if we print Peter, so there, Peter, and then we'll press enter, it gives it this, because it, once again, I told you, it saves the information as a string. And if we wanted Python to be able to print Peter, you would have to go like this. And then we would be able to save and run the module, just like this. And when we type in Peter, oops. Sorry, I'm really guessing that this is going to be delayed right now, but we need to also change this after print to, oh, it was capitalized. That's why it didn't work. So maybe we don't need to change this. Let's test it. Okay? So press F5, hit OK. Type in Peter like how I did. Press enter, and no. So we just found out that you do actually need to type in Peter, or whatever you put before the raw input. You need to type that in after print for it to be able to work. So, so press F5, run the program, and just bring this up, and we will type in Peter, and it should print out Peter. So that was my tutorial on input and raw input statements. I hope you enjoy. My next tutorial should be on, I think, the else and elif statements. So stay tuned, and please enjoy my tutorials. Till next time. Oh, oops, I have to do this. The hotkey didn't work, so I'll just stop it. So till next time, bye.